Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Brawlin with Brett. Today we're going to do something a little bit special. We are going to be building a new deck because Theros Beyond Death has just released, and so I want to be playing with some of the new cards, and I figure that one of the best ways to do that is to kind of show you my deck building process. So we're going to get a little bit of a rough draft going here. We might make some changes to this deck tonight. We might, if we like the deck, we might play it some more later on. But I'm going to just show you kind of my process, and we'll move from there. So most important, we got to do not collected. So we're just going to be. I mean, I have just a heads up. I have not like pre-done this. I've not. I've thought about the commander in a little bit, but we're going to do Klothys, God of Destiny. I think that's how we pronounce it. That's how I'm going to be pronouncing it. So if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, and I'm probably going to say Klothys, which isn't right. But I've been doing that all day. So I'll say try to say it right, but I make no promises. So I've decided, the one thing I have decided is we're going to be doing Klothys, God of Destiny. I really like this card. I think there's I haven't played a Gruul deck in Brawl, and I think there's a solid deck here. I've been trying to decide if it is a mid-range deck or if it is an aggro deck, and we're just taking advantage of the inevitability of that drain every time. I'm kind of leaning mid-rangey. I think it's hard to go pure aggro, and I think you've got to run a lot of one-drops, and if we're running a bunch of one-drops in red and going for pure aggro, I don't know why we wouldn't be playing Torben. So we're going to be playing, this is kind of a mid-rangey build, and we're going to see if it works. So I'm just going to really quick throw my land in here. We're going to be running, we are going to be running some pretty steep costs on this, so we are going to need a lot of dual lands. I can never remember the best way to get... Here we go. I need to get the colorless lands. We want Evolving Wilds for sure, because we're going to need to be exiling cards from the yard. Fabled Passage for sure. We're going to be running Field of Ruin because, oh my gosh, this... If we can get a Field of Ruin against those Golos decks, it is incredible. I've beaten so many Golos decks because I just had my Field of Ruin available, so definitely doing that. Looking at some of these other ones. We might try Lotus Field. I've been trying this out in another deck I've been playing. I'm not positive on it, but getting lands in the yard gives us the opportunity to ramp a little bit, so we're going to try this, and it might be a mistake, and if it's a mistake, we'll take it out, and we'll learn. It'll be a learning experience, so let's get rolling. And so basically how I normally do this is I just go through all the available cards in my colors when I'm doing a Brawl deck, and I throw them in, and we trim from there. So we're going to just do that. We're going to kind of go through. I'm going to try to move fairly quickly and talk at you while we're doing this. But I don't want this to take too long, so we're just going to kind of do this as we go. And I'll try to give a little commentary and explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. So as I said, we're doing mid-range. Well, we might do Galea. Anything that interacts with the graveyard, that fills our graveyard up, I think is going to be a decent chance. I don't know if we're going to just run the kind of the aggressive. Those might get cut, but I guess we'll give them a try. Domri's Ambush is nuts. There's just going to be a lot of cards we're going to kind of try out here. And we're going to see where our curve is at once we've gotten all these put down. Card draw seems good. That's the bad one. I think we're going to be running too many spells for that. Okay, so let's just start in the red and green cards, and we're just going to kind of go through, and stuff's going to get thrown in. Don't think we're going to run there. And so just so you guys know, in case you didn't get a chance to read Klothys, so she's a 4/5 indestructible. She's only going to be a creature if her devotion to red and green is 7. She brings 2 devotion with us, but we need 5 pips on the battlefield if we want her to be a 4/5. At our pre-combat main phase, we're going to exile a card from a graveyard, not just ours. So we get to go out the opponent's stuff too, which is real nice. And if it's a land, we get to add some mana, and otherwise we're going to gain 2 life and deal 2 damage to an opponent. So anything that interacts with life gain or draining our opponent or getting things into the yard are going to be things we're going to be wanting to look at. So I'm just trying to get us a decent removal package, some good threats, and there might be some things that don't make sense as I'm putting in there. And again, I would rather trim cards than miss one and not think to go back and add it. And I think we should have enough cards to enough wild cards to craft this deck. I have a lot of red and green cards independently. They lose the life. No. Deals 2 damage to each opponent. So, maybe we'll put the Spitfire in as a maybe if we have our commander out. And ideally, we can get our commander out pretty easily. We can get our commander out pretty easily, and it's going to be hard to remove our commander. Glint Horn might make it in. So as you can already see, so the builder did already put lands in. We have 24 lands, which is just generally what I go with for Brawl. So as you can see, we aren't terribly far in this, and we are already pretty high up in the number of cards. So we're going to have to make some cuts, and that's okay. Fires of Invention is a maybe. I mean, we're running a mid-range deck, so if we can just slam 2 powerful cards every turn, that feels okay to me. Yeah, anything that's going to be filling up the yard, I think, is going to be nice. Now, I don't know how. Once the game gets going, I think that we should be able to exile a card from a yard pretty consistently. So, like, I don't think we need to kill ourselves filling the yard up, but we can run some escape stuff and kind of take advantage of it anyway. Perforos, I think you need to go really specifically for Perforos. I'm not honestly a huge fan of Perf in Brawl. Oh, well, yep. So we have not added the mono green cards yet or finished with red. And as you can see, we are already at 59 cards. So, like I said, we can accept that. Oh, and we didn't get our green lands. Garen Brigg, really quick, we're just going to slide back in there. I feel like in 2 colors, these lands are a pretty low opportunity cost to get some nice extra stuff. I don't want to deal with the tap lands that get this food or the dwarf. I don't think they're valuable enough for us to get. I don't think they're more valuable than it would be for. It's more valuable to make sure our lands that are coming into play untapped whenever we can than to maybe get a food or a dwarf, but probably just mess up our curve. So that is why we aren't doing that. Elvish Reclaimer seems like a fine fit in this deck. The Goose for sure. Pelt Collector gets pretty out of hand. So we're just building a mid-range deck, so we don't have to build super high synergy. Obviously, we've got some of the graveyard interaction stuff, but just filling our deck up with some good cards should do us pretty good. Our commander ramps us a little bit, and she comes down fast, so I don't know if we're going to be running as much ramp as we're putting in here. But yeah, no, we'll see. I'm kind of skipping over some of these aggro cards right now. I feel like the Dryad's really good. I don't have one of those yet, but we'll craft them. We've got a few rares sitting around. Probably enough to get this deck done, no problem. Oh, and then we'll have to, let's not forget. Oh gosh darn it! Apparently adding a thing to the search jumps us back to the beginning. I wanted to make sure we get artifacts in there because, at the very least, we're going to be running Shadow Spear, because Shadow Spear is incredible. I'm also kind of leaning towards cards that I've had a good luck with in Brawl. I don't think we have enough enchantments. We're not really doing an enchantment sub-theme. Yorvo probably, just because I want pips. I don't know if we're going to get them on turn 3 all the time, but I feel like it's worth putting in the deck. It's going to be hard to convince me not to be running Questing Beast, just because that card is such a beating. We just dumped a ton of cards in here. We're kind of getting into the green cards that I play a lot of in my green commander decks. I think it's hard to say no to Nissa in anything. The card is so good. So really, we're just trying to get in and play sticky, annoying threats and take advantage of our commander, keeping our life total high and pushing our opponents lower. Yeah, putting the Great Henge in there for sure. Oh my gosh, we have a lot of cuts we need to make. A lot of cuts. Kind of thinking about Nylea's intervention. I mean, we'll put it in, and then we'll look at it. So, we aren't rolling in, I'm sorry, I kind of trailed off there. Arcane Signet. I feel weird not running Arcane Signet. It's such a good ramp / fixer. Oh boy. I don't think we're going to have a ton of room for artifacts here. I really like running Ugin. Ugin might not make the cut. Okay, so we have 23 cards to cut. So let's get some cuts done here. So right now, our curve isn't terrible. We've got 16 cards in 3. We're gonna need it. Well, we're just gonna need to trim across the board. I don't think this curve looks bad, but we just have too many cards. So let's just make sure we're good where we're at on lands. So 24 lands, so we don't need to worry about lands. Let's just start at the bottom. Reclaimer is not ramping us, but is going to pretty easily be get boosted there. I think we're going to, since we have decided to run the Lotus Field, I really like the Reclaimer because we can go sack a land, get the Lotus in, and then we've turned Elvish Reclaimer on. If we have, obviously we wouldn't go get the Lotus if we didn't have lands to sack, so I like that. Gilded Goose I feel like is too hard to, we just run Gilded Goose. Pelt Collector, I'm trying to decide for a mid-range. I mean, it's hard to argue with Pelt Collector. We're going to pull Lava Coil right now. We have other Graveyard Hate. Probably keep Thrill in. We might come back. We're gonna take a couple sweeps at this. Nessie and Hornbeetle is a card I actually want to try out a little bit more. I played this card in Limited. I was reading about a green Stompy list in Standard where somebody was having a lot of luck with it. Generally, I imagine Pelt Collector is probably better than the Hornbeetle, but I'm curious to kind of try the Hornbeetle out. Once Upon a Time's in the deck 100%. Domri's Ambush is such a house, and it's going to deal with Planeswalkers too. I think we have enough 2-drops. I don't think we're getting that much extra stuff out of Galila. Anax is excellent and is nice board wipe insurance. Bone Crusher's hard to say no to. Oh boy, I mean a lot of these cards are hard to say no to. Spitfire, I don't know if I don't think we have enough consistent pings of damage, so we're just going to take that out. Flame Sweep, I'd rather run the 4-mana one. It's more consistent. Krenko is a card that absolutely could just win us the game if it gets out of hand. I like Merchant of the Veil just to fill up that yard early. The Dryad I've seen see get a lot of play, so we're going to keep the Dryad. We were running Lovestruck Beast and other stuff. I think we have other impressive cards. Thrashy Brontodon's going to stay in. Yorvo. Domri's the right one here. Gruul's Spellbreaker, like I said. I think I'd want our creatures doing more stuff. Given our creatures Riot seems really good. Chandra and Fires are both going to come out. If we're running Circuitous Route, we need to run less 2-mana ramp. I like Nylea a lot. I think Nylea is going to do stuff for us in the deck and can be card advantage and can be a mana dump. Vivian might get cut. We're going to come back to Vivian. Domri Chaos Bringer. I think we've got a lot of 4-mana stuff here. Cavalier is going to take advantage of us throwing all these lands in the yard. Pitch us hands. I really like that Cavalier. It can just win you the game. I don't know if we have enough stuff to sneak in with Ilharg. Ox might be eating up our graveyard too much, but I am really keen to try this card somewhere. We were cutting a lot of our Planeswalkers. I think we're going to cut Sarkhan. I play with Sarkhan a lot. Ravager Worm. We need to cut some of these Planeswalkers. It's just the reality of the situation. I don't think we're running both interventions, so deciding on which intervention to go with. This one is obviously going to deal with a creature or planeswalker, twice X. Nylea's wipes all their flyers out. Nylea's also goes and pulls out all our lands, or a sizable portion of lands. I think we're going to cut some of our mana ramp creatures and keep that in. One of those should probably get cut, but we're going to kind of sweep back down. So this is how I do this. This is how I build Brawl decks. I think this is a pretty reasonable way to do it if you have a sizable collection in Arena. Some people are more list oriented. They want to get a list down before they do anything else. I kind of rather build. In paper, I'm kind of the same way. I'll go through my cards first and then maybe go online and see what I'm missing. The nice thing about Arena is we can just pull up all our cards and look at them right away. So, oh boy, we're not done yet. We're just trying to get out of the screen. Okay, so we need to make a second pass and cut 16 more cards. Trying to think of what kind of creatures we're playing here. I think we're going to cut Pelt Collector because we aren't just playing huge statted creatures. We're kind of playing utility creatures and stuff that does other things and ideally gets us 2/4 or card advantage. I want to make sure we're running enough removal. I have not gotten to play with Robber of the Rich much, and I kind of want to keep that in. We're going to cut Thrill and keep the adventure creature. We're going to keep the Horn Beetle in. I want to try that out. Paradise Druid. Now we need to start considering what ramp creatures we're cutting. Incubation Druid can kind of evolve into the late game and be more powerful. Paradise Druid is harder to deal with, obviously because of hexproof. I think I'd rather have creatures than Arcane Signet, to be totally honest. Our Arcane Signet's not helping our devotion, so we're going to cut that out of the deck. That might be a mistake. You might be rolling your eyes or saying, well, Brett, you're a moron. But I think that's a fine place to be. We're going to cut Rhythm. It doesn't do anything the turn it comes down. A lot of our cards don't necessarily do that, but Circuitous Route. I think if we're going to keep Nylea's in, we cut Circuitous Route. Our 4 mana green spells are a big block here, so we need to decide what we're going to cut. Questing Beast is a beast. I'm so fun. Let's do Shifting. Something I'm also doing here is I'm kind of pulling some of the cards that are in all my other decks out. Partially because I just want to play with some of these new cards I haven't gotten a chance to play with. So I don't know if this is our most optimal list. We might go back in and add some of those cards at a later point. We're going to run Ugin or we're going to run Chandra. I don't think we're going to run both. We can just we have ways to take out artifacts or enchantments. I love Ugin. Ugin's a great card, but I love Chandra more. So, and I think Chandra puts some more inevitability on the board. If we can play Chandra and then tick Chandra up, and then we're doing 3 or 4 a turn, that seems really good. Embercleave seems too hard to ignore. Beanstalk Giant is more ramp. The Thorn Mammoth is going to come out. We have a lot of stuff at the high drops. We still have 6 5-drops and 5 6-drops. So now things like Beanstalk Giant really are more of a 3-drop with upside than a 7-drop. Ravager Worm fights target creature we don't control or destroy target land. We'll try to keep. We haven't gotten to play with Ravager Worm, and we just took out the Fight Mammoth. Escape to the Wild seems good. We need some card advantage in the deck. Cavalier of Thorns is just an absolute house. We're going to try to keep Circara in. Well, I like Circara, but we're not really doing much with instants and sorceries, so I don't think Circara is honestly... I think a 5-mana 3/3 that taps to ping and maybe draws us a card isn't exactly where we need to be right now. And we've still got 7 cuts we need to make. Renata called to the hunt, so I don't hate our other creatures coming in with counters. Where are we at creatures-wise? We have 27 creatures in the deck still, so we're pretty creature-heavy. She also cares about tokens, so that seems fine. Vivian seems less good when we don't always necessarily have a great creature to fight with. I'm used to having Questing Beast with Vivian, so we're going to pull Vivian out. We'll keep the Wicked Wolf in. We're running the Goose. That's just that in and of itself is enough of a food package. I like a board wipe, so we might try to keep that in. I think Neheb is okay to go. And now I think we need to cut some of these early drops. Our 3-drop slot is looking a little full. Bone Crusher. Well, Bone Crusher is a 2-drop. Chandra, are there instants and sorceries we want to be flashing back? Not really. So that's an easy cut. Chandra's out. Legion War Boss, Kranko, both can run away with the game. I'm not particularly keen to cut either one of those. Bone Crusher is just decent removal and a 4/3 for 3 with upside. Donry's Ambush, as I said, is one of our very good removal spells. I have luck with the Harpooner, but I think the Corral Harpooner can come out. I think we have other ways to answer flyers. What is our removal looking like? So we have our fight spell. We have Thrashing Brontodon. We have Domri to fight. We have Storm's Wrath to blow stuff up. Torbran's in here because I like the devotion. It's going to help make our commander a creature, and that will also allow her pings to go for 4, which seems very good. I think our Hydrops are pretty okay. This thing gets trampled, so as long as they don't have a trick, that seems pretty good. So that's some removal. So we're actually going to pull Chandra's Triumph. Now we just have to cut one more card. 2 mana Accelerants get us on turn 4, on turn 3, but our commander's turn 3. I think we are going to cut the Paradise Druid. Okay. So I normally trust Arena's Balancer. This looks fine. We're pretty similar here, a little more green than red, but I don't think that's a huge issue. We need both our colors fairly early on, and we've had enough time building this deck, so let's get out and play it. I think that's another important thing to keep in mind is you just need to play your deck, get something working, and get it going. We absolutely can't forget our sleeves. We've got a lot of nice options here. They're gonna know what our commander is, so we don't need to try to like next level him with the sleeves. This is the most boring thing you could ever be watching. We're gonna just go with the to celebrate Theros. We're gonna go with that sleeve. We've got to craft the deck. Okay, deck crafted. Oh, that didn't hurt too bad. Only had to craft 1 rare, which is one of the lovely things about Brawl, and likely why Wizard doesn't want you to have access to it all the time. So that's the deck, and then we're gonna move on to some games. Oh, we got to get back in there. Sometimes I thought we dragged. Oh, you know what I think it was? I think crafting our commander pulled her out. So hopefully she's still in the deck. If she's not in the deck, we have to make another cut, which is frustrating. Is she not? Let's get her in the deck. Oh gosh, come on. Thought we crafted her. Here we go. Oh. I guess we didn't craft. Oh, do we craft one of her? Well, here we go. Okay. Oh, we do have to make one more cut. Darn. Okay. So going down here. Glinthorn. I keep eyeing him. We do have some stuff to discard our cards, which does some nice stuff with our little kind of mini wheels. I thought we were good. I was so excited. I was able to leave most of the cards I really liked in the deck. Where are we at? Creature Rights 24. We're fine with Embercleave. I don't want to lose Embercleave. Beanstalk Giant is kind of where I'm looking right now as our cut. Yeah, we've got Dryad who's going to get us some extra stuff down, and I don't want to delay anymore. I want to get to a game here. So, out comes Beanstalk Giant. Deck should be done now. I should know how to spell Klothys. It's Klothys. All right. That's right? Boy, my brain, it's not good. There it is. We got it. You trusted me. I didn't trust me. I need to be more like you, viewer. Have that faith in me. All right. Now we are going to play in Wednesday Night Brawl. Because, nope, we already subjected the viewer to that once. New deck. Let's get going. So, we're going to be playing this deck throughout the week. We might need to do some tweaks throughout, but I also would advise against making too many changes too quickly. We have a version of the deck. One game is generally not enough to decide if something works or not. So I'm probably going to try to steer away from making big changes right away. And we're going to maybe do that in coming weeks. This is a great opening hand. We can really take advantage of that Lotus field. We'll be able to ramp a little extra because we'll pitch some of these lands into the yard. We got Once Upon a Time. This seems like a wonderful keep. I'm really excited. And we get to play a new Theros commander, which I'm really excited to do. Was hoping we weren't going to be subjected to just... we're going to hold on to Once Upon a Time right now. Just to Golos or Niv Mizzet decks, so... Alrighty, Paradise Druid. So there could be a 2-drop we want to play here. So we're going to crack off the Once Upon a Time. Feel like Legion's Warboss, or we have a lot of 3-drops here, so let's nab that Wicked Wolf so we have a 4-drop to go with. And we can also Merchant of the Veil. I think we've got enough lands. We're gonna pitch one of our forests here. Okay. That works for me. So we get to do a nice little option here. We're more green heavy than we are red. Where we're gonna get the Lotus field going now. Ooh, that is a problem that is gonna need to get dealt with quickly. Okay, so as of right now, we don't have a great answer. Getting a indestructible 4/5 down would be an answer, but we're going to need to move quickly here. So we get to play an extra land this turn, and we're gonna pitch these two. We need to get something against this questing beast, or we're gonna be dead real soon. Getting to 7 is not going to happen terribly quickly. Oh, and our land's all tapped for every type, so that's something we need to remember, that we aren't in a terrible position on that front. I think we need to get our commander down, because we don't have a food. We can't make the Wicked Wolf fight and survive. Oh, I just played right into that, right into their counter spell. But I mean, it's not like we had a lot of options. We had to do something. Oof. Unfortunately, this might be kind of a rough intro. Resolve that. But that's okay. Something we need to also keep in mind is you're not going to win when you make a new deck every time. A lot of times you're going to need to refine. So I think this is going to be a good kind of experience to go through this week as we try this deck out. And one of the things I'm feeling right now is I don't have enough removal. Now, again, we aren't going to base... We're not going to go, oh, I don't have enough removal and go completely change the deck after one game because someone played a questing beast on turn 3 and that made me feel sad. So we're going to need to try to keep some objectivity. Now, at the end of this week, if we play 6 games and every time we go, okay, they played aggressive creatures, we couldn't answer them early and we lost, then we're going to know. So we are not drawing a ton of answers. Klothys isn't... particularly well. Here we go. I think if we can stack our triggers, we can get a fight with that. I don't think we can do... Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Yeah. This is probably done. We're gonna play this one out a little bit farther, but questing beast and then being able to counter absolutely everything we do, oh my god. Okay. Okay. That's going to be that. Okay. So, not a... not a great showing for game one, but again, we're going to be iterating on this deck. We're going to be trying it out, and if we are seeing consistently that we just aren't bringing enough value packed into the deck, we might need to kind of change from mid-range to aggro. If we are just getting run over, we just might need to say we aren't running enough removal, cut some of these creatures, get more removal in there. So that is kind of our first showing on the deck. This video's gone on long enough, so I want you to, if you are interested in seeing more Klothys, maybe get a win or two in here this week, please tune back in on Wednesday, where I'm going to be playing some more games with this deck. And, yeah, we're going to see how this Week 1 Theros Brew goes. So thanks for tuning in. Check us out on TCG University. I'm on MTG Study Hall if you want to see more than me. Donations to the Patreon to really help us out, and you get some extra content, even if you're just at the $1 a month level. We really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in to Brawlin with Brett. Have a good night, everybody.